Hi there, today I've got a little bit of a time lapse for you. I had the idea of filling a sketchbook page with 9 mini paintings. I had a slightly odd idea and I had no clue whether it would work, so I decided to try it out on little tiny paintings rather than one finished piece. This idea that I had really has the potential of being ruined instantly. That's why I thought if I could try it out on lots of different paintings, then at least if I mess one up, I've got other ones to try it on. I can use some as a test piece, you know. But if I'd have done one big finished piece, then I really could have just ruined it in one go. The thing with using a Posca paint marker, especially with adding it like really solid lines at the end of the painting process, is honestly you can just ruin it instantly, and it is kind of scary. I've done portraits before and it's worked really well, but I've never tried landscapes. Also, I've never tried gouache with this line art style that I really like. So I'm going to be trying out lots of new stuff with this page. Gouache really isn't my medium. I don't have much practice with it at all, and I got a little bit scared of using it before in my Etch-a-Sketchbook because I had a load of pages transfer horrifically next to each other. This page thankfully was okay because on the other side it's just watercolour, but whenever you have 2 pages of gouache next to each other in the Etch-a-Sketchbook, honestly it transfers, it looks horrific. You have to use wax over it, so it really put me off actually using it. I started off with a really light wash of that gorgeous pink shade in the Himi Jelly Gouache set, and honestly since this page I don't actually do this process anymore. I've started using watercolour as my base instead of a thin layer of gouache, because generally with watercolour like you can't really pick it up unless you're actively trying, but for gouache it's very easy to pick up the layer underneath, and I found that using watercolour as the base is actually so much easier. But after I'd done that initial layer, I actually went in really quite thick. As you can see, I didn't want to do many layers at all. I actually tried to just do 1 layer for each one, and that didn't happen. It wasn't opaque enough, and generally it needed a little bit more than 1 layer. But I wanted these pieces to be really quick, and I managed to finish this entire page in 1 day, which was my goal, but it did take a bit longer than I had expected. Overall, I think the Himi Jelly Gouache worked very well. It worked very thick, which is what I love, and I also love that because it means that you generally don't need to put as many layers on. I think if I was going to do this with a kind of dry gouache that was reactivated, I would definitely need at least like 4 layers, definitely more than what I've done here. Honestly though, I really didn't have much of a plan for this entire page. I knew that I wanted to try line art with landscapes and see how that would go. But when it comes to portraits, it's a lot easier to tell what kind of line art you should put on top because so many portraits have already been created with line art. When it comes to landscapes, there really wasn't very much out there, so I just kind of winged the whole thing, as you'll probably be able to tell. I went in during this stage and just tried to neaten up the borders in between each of the paintings and add the gouache. Honestly, when I get to the Posca paint marker stage, I think it's really 50-50 whether it makes it better or not, so I would love to hear your opinions down below, whether you think it's better or worse. It's definitely a style choice, and to be honest, watching this back, I do really love it at this stage. I really love how the page is coming along with the little mini landscapes, and I do think it definitely loses something when the line art is added, because these colours are so vibrant, and I do feel like the line art sort of takes away from that, which you'll be able to see in a moment. I really love how these are coming along. I do think the strongest ones on this page that I really like are probably either the Aurora or the Forest, which I really love. I do quite like the road as well, especially at this stage. I think it's so vibrant and I really do like how they're coming along. The paper that I'm using is an Etch-a-Sketchbook. It's A4, so it's the perfect size to be able to do lots of little landscapes like this. I do love A5 and I do love pocket sketchbooks, but you really couldn't do anything like this, and I don't know if I would feel kind of conscious if I was going to use up an entire page and then it not go well. At least this way, if some of them don't look good, you know, it's not a waste of an entire page. I think sometimes you can have that kind of attitude if you start using expensive supplies like the Etch-a-Sketchbook, and this is the exact reason that I still haven't finished it 2 years on, because I'm a little bit too precious with my expensive sketchbook. And I don't know if that's a really common thing, but anyway, now going on to the Posket. I tried it out with the beach first because I wasn't too keen on the beach, and you can kind of see with that, but I do think it definitely got slightly better as I was going along, so I'm glad that I prioritized the kind of worst one first, or like one of the worst ones. But generally, I don't know if it makes it better or not. I think some of them are better, and some of them I'm really not sure, so I'd love to know what you guys think down below. It's definitely a style and it's a choice, but really I'm not sure. Sketchbooks are supposed to be fun and experimental, and that's exactly what this one is. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd love if you could subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye bye!